Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. We have a lot to talk about and I really don't want to do a long-winded, drawn-out introduction, so I'm just going to say if you want to talk today about IPSY, BOXYCHARM, some details, and me responding to a bunch of questions and comments that I've gotten in my comment sections over on Instagram and TikTok and here on YouTube, then we're going to do that today, talking about some details between the IPSY-BOXYCHARM merger, how it's affected us so far, the price increase, and a lot more info. So I've already done info videos on all of that. Today I'm really just going to be addressing some questions and giving you guys a little bit more as to my personal thoughts and how I feel about a lot of these changes, because I really want to get into that. So today, that's what we're doing. If that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, because I upload every other day, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all of the fun stuff I'm posting. And we're going to jump right into it. Not going to keep this too long. Let's go. Alright, so first I got a comment under, I believe it was my price increase video, and somebody commented, it wasn't a negative comment or anything, it was just, it sounds like you're working for BOXYCHARM. So I do just want to clarify for everybody, I do not work for BOXYCHARM, I am not a BOXYCHARM employee, they do not sponsor any of my videos. The only thing I get is I do have a link that is in my description box in every BOXYCHARM video, where it is, if you subscribe to BOXYCHARM using that link, I do make a small commission. However, me just coming on here and talking to you guys about it, talking about the price increase or any of that, none of that is sponsored, none of that is promoted, I'm not getting paid to do any of that. I just know that I built my platform off of BOXYCHARM unboxings, I know that, so I know that a lot of the people who follow me are hyper engaged in BOXYCHARM, so whenever a new update happens or there's some information we have, I know that a lot of people sitting at home watching these videos are interested not only in what the changes are, but what that means for them, and often how I feel about it. So just to address that, I do not work for BOXYCHARM. I am not a BOXYCHARM employee. You are getting unfiltered, unsponsored, untampered with, whatever you want to call it, opinions every single time I open my mouth to talk about Boxy. I'll tell you when I like something and I'll tell you when I don't. And in that box increase video, I did mention a lot of products got more expensive. I know right now, anything that is being manufactured overseas, there are delays in imports. There's a lot of products that prices have gone up. Even products made domestically, the price of ingredients and the cost of goods on a lot of products have gone up. So the items in the box, where they might have been a little bit on the more affordable side for them to manufacture, that price is going to increase, and unfortunately, it does hit the bottom line. So I'm not surprised that the price increased. Am I mad at it? I mean, again, my boxes are PR, they are sent to me free of charge for an honest review, so even though I'm not spending the money on them directly, do I think that Boxyluxe for $59.99 is worth it? Absolutely. It was worth it at $50, it would be worth it at $75. Though at $75 we're getting into new territory, but at $59.99 I still think that's worth it. So even though, yes, a price increase is frustrating, it is still more money or more value in product for the money than if you were to go into an Ulta and Sephora to spend $59.99 on product and you're going to walk out with a whole lot more. I do want to also say, and this is just my personal opinion on the subject, when I started subscribing to BOXYCHARM, long before they knew who I was, long before I was on their PR list, long before I had even met anybody on the team, I paid for boxes myself. I was a subscriber. I was subscribed to BOXYCHARM, I want to say 1.5 years before I even started my YouTube channel. That is how long I have been, in some way engaged with the BOXYCHARM community. And I got my boxes in the beginning because I wanted to try things I wouldn't normally buy myself. There were a lot of brands I either hadn't heard of or didn't have access to, or in many cases, they weren't on my radar or I was trying something different. So the fact that they said, you know what, we're going to send this product for you to try this month, and I was able to say, you know what, this is a formula I'm not familiar with, and as a result, I've discovered so many brands that I wouldn't necessarily have known beforehand. The example I'm going to use is Ace Beauty. We got this beautiful palette in this month's box. This is not the first palette from this brand we've received in the box, and prior to their first BOXYCHARM feature, I had never heard of them, and now it is one of the best eyeshadow formulas that I've used. This palette sits front and center with, I have 3 palettes in front of me at all times, and this one sits right here with 2 other ones, and I just love the pigment, I love the payoff, I love the brand. But that's not something I ever would have known if I hadn't been a BOXYCHARM subscriber. So for me, when I think about $59.99 for a luxe box, or $25 for a base box, or $39.99 for the premium box, it is absolutely worth it to me. And even if I was still paying for it and it wasn't PR, in every unboxing video I say, you know, let's look at this and not say, is this the best box we've ever got or is this the worst box, but will we get more than we've spent in product that we are going to like and use out of this box? And the answer is almost always yes. Now, another thing that people have been commenting on that I do want to address is it's been very skincare focused lately. And a lot of people have been commenting that they just want more makeup. And I've noticed this past month we did finally kind of round that curve and saw more makeup. And I do want to acknowledge that above and beyond everything else, BOXYCHARM is a business and they're following trends. And during quarantine and during, you know, the heart of the COVID-19 pandemic, when a lot of us were staying at home and not wearing makeup, our makeup choices changed. And a lot of times with boxes, IPSY, BOXYCHARM, any of them, their products are, you know, if they're bringing in 400,000 units of a lipstick or whatever that they have to come in, that stuff's not made overnight. So those orders are in long before we ever see it in a box, which the planning that goes into that means that during quarantine, when everybody's really into skincare and self-love and taking care of their skin and not wearing as much makeup, it made sense for the boxes to develop into more skincare because the products that BOXYCHARM and IPSY were ordering during that time were obviously geared towards that not going out, not wearing makeup vibe. And now that the world is opening up a little bit, vaccinations are available, ignoring all the political stuff, keep that to yourself. I honestly do not want to start that conversation. But now that people are able to go out a little bit more freely and they're wearing makeup again, it makes sense to want more makeup. I mean, all of the things I tried during quarantine, if I wasn't filming, I wasn't wearing makeup. If I wasn't sitting down in this room to talk to you about a product, I was not putting any makeup on my face. And that is very reflective in the types of products I was looking for. I want high impact and I want things that work really easily. I don't want to have to futz with things too much. And as a result, those are the types of things that I was really interested in, and I was much more into skincare. Skincare has always been my passion, but in my unboxings, I've said since day one, I will always have more fun talking to you all about an eyeshadow palette and putting together a look than I will talking about a serum, because I can't tell you in a minute if a serum is going to be great. I need to try it and give it some time. So that being said, seeing that the boxes are kind of starting to go back towards makeup makes sense, because a year ago, things started to open up a little bit more and the vaccine started rolling out and people started going out more and we thought we were over the hump. And here we are a year later, still being very restrictive in what we're doing and all of that fun stuff. But as a result, the boxes can get a little bit more makeup-y again because we're leaving the house again. It's not all about skincare anymore. Another thing I want to address is the IPSY-BOXY merger, because a lot of people still don't understand what that means. So first and foremost, it means that Joe sold the company. BOXYCHARM is no longer owned by Joe. He is involved in some sort of consultant aspect, and he is still on the board, as he said on his Instagram. But as far as everyday involvement, he is no longer involved. So IPSY has taken on a lot of that, and IPSY and BOXYCHARM are now being run by the same company under this umbrella. It's going public. There's a whole lot going on there, and I'm not going to get into that today. I will link a whole bunch of videos up above throughout this entire video about different updates and all of that information. But as for what that means for IPSY, it means that if one of the boxes has a lot of extra product, there's a chance we might see it in the other box. Now, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because in the past, we saw IPSY as competitors with BOXYCHARM. They were competitors, some people got both, but for the most part, it was a one or the other. Now, the upside is, if there's something that you're like in one, there's a good chance that if you aren't subscribed to them, you might get it in the other box. Now, for some people who get both, obviously that somebody who gets BOXYCHARM and IPSY doesn't want to get the same thing twice. That's never going to be fun. But it does mean that access to brands is going to be a little bit more expanded. There are brands that have been exclusively in IPSY for years. There have been brands that have been exclusively in BOXYCHARM for years. So this merger is definitely going to make it easier for somebody who might get IPSY but not BOXYCHARM to get a product from a brand they may not have been able to get if they only got IPSY, and vice versa. I'm going to use the example of the Complex Culture T-bar massager that came in Boxy Premium or Boxyluxe like 2 or 3 months ago. I got that in IPSY 2 IPSY X's ago, and it's a fantastic product. I said in that video, I love it as a product, but if I was getting both, I wouldn't want an extra. I'd rather get something new and different. So that's just another thing to think about, is that That's me as a person who's getting both boxes. But someone sitting at home who's only getting BoxyCharm, I can see them really enjoying that product. It's a high quality, high price point, really good anti-inflammatory product to break down congestion under the skin, and a nice facial massager to use with your favorite serum. And it is such a great product. And if you were a BoxyCharm subscriber who didn't get IPSY, now you might have the opportunity to get it, even though if you were not getting it and you only had BoxyCharm, you would have never been able to get that brand before. Now, I hope this helped with a little bit of like my opinions on this whole situation, because if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to continue talking about both brands. I think that even with all of the changes and the things that have been happening, they're still both great values for what you're getting out of the price point when you put it in. $25 for the IPSY or $25 for the BoxyCharm is still a great value for all of the product you're getting, even all the way up to the IPSY X for $50 and the Boxyluxe for $59.99. You definitely get your money's worth, and if you were to take that money and go into an Ulta or go into a Sephora and spend that, you'd be walking out with much less than you get in the boxes. So that's just my opinion. The one thing I will say, and I've said this before, and I stand behind it, I liked BoxyCharm the most when it was a curated, like, experience. When the theme of this box matched the products in the box, and there was really only a handful of variations, and the only major changes were the colors you got in the lipstick. So everybody was going to get, you know, back in the day it was a Kat Von D lipstick 1 month, or a ColourPop palette. I'm talking a long time ago. I know ColourPop is not a price point that people want in BoxyCharm, but ColourPop makes some amazing products, and there was a month where there was like 6 different BoxyCharm variations in ColourPop palettes, and that was a variation. You got one of the 6 palettes with a bunch of other products. And I loved BoxyCharm back then because I felt like I could talk to anybody out there and we all got a similar box and a similar vibe and a similar story, and it felt more community. Whereas now we all kind of get a customized box to our liking with sometimes over 300 or 400 variations, which to me is an enormous amount, and it almost makes like us having a conversation and me doing an unboxing, it's a crapshoot that you're going to get even a variation close to what I'm getting, let alone the exact one. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts down below. I want to hear all of your opinions, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!